these are some live shots that we are bringing to you of the Prime Minister now having taken charge for his third term after being sworn in at 7:15 p.m. last evening. These are the visuals that we brought to you. This is the visual that's currently coming in from his office. Remember, we've already brought to you the information of how he was at the South Block of the Rashtrapati Bhavan this morning, and he has called for a meeting with his new ministers who were sworn in, 72 of them who were sworn in last night. At around 5 p.m. is what we are gathering now after being sworn in as the Prime Minister for the third time. Prime Minister Modi signs his first file authorizing the release of 17th installment of the Prime Minister Kisan Nidhi. This will benefit 9.3 crore farmers and distribute around 20,000 crores. After signing the file, PM Modi said, "Ours is a government fully committed to Kisan Kalyan. It is therefore fitting that the first file signed on taking charge, and after taking charge rather, is related to farmer welfare. We want to keep working even more for the farmers and the agriculture sector in the times to come." These are the latest shot of him having taken charge of his office, the role that he was sworn in for last evening by the President of our nation, Draupadi Murmu. These are the shots, the latest shots that we bring to you. Well, yesterday is when we saw his cabinet and the other ministers within his government who were also sworn in. Remember, 72 of them had been sworn in, and as per the information that we just brought to you, out of them, 30 of them are cabinet ministers, 5 independent charges and 36 ministers of state. Now, the portfolios shall be announced later. In fact, as he signs this entire particular authorizes the 20,000 crore rupees for the Kisan Nidhi scheme, it indeed becomes quite important to take a look at who will be receiving the agriculture portfolio, since he has also said that farmers' welfare will be of prime importance for this government. Now, Prime Minister Modi is 73 years old, will be heading a coalition government in his third term, or the Modi 3.0 as we call it, and these are the first visuals that we bring to you from the parliament as he takes charge, as he has already started his work as promised by him that he has to waste no time. He has no time to waste. And remember, only in a few days he will also be flying out of the country to attend the G7 summit. So here, before that, we see him already taking charge of the national affairs, of the internal affairs, beginning with the welfare schemes of the farmers. And this is his third term since he became Prime Minister in 2014, following a thumping brand Modi victory after 10 years of the United Progressive Alliance rule. And remember, he is the second Prime Minister after Jawaharlal Nehru to be elected for a third term in a row. And yesterday, we have already been bringing you shots since this morning of the oath ceremony that took place while the national capital was in fact going through temperatures soaring to 42 degrees Celsius in the national capital. Quite a few guests that we had seen who were all present, and in fact yesterday before the oath taking ceremony itself, we've seen several of the NDA meets take place. Yesterday, in fact, there was a closed door tea party that was also called at the Prime Minister's residence, where we had seen several of these leaders who were sworn in at the oath-taking ceremony yesterday. President Draupadi Murmu administered the oath to Prime Minister Modi, along with other leaders, which included some of them from the previous cabinet, which is Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, Nirmala Sitharaman, Nitin Gadkari, while there were also quite a few fresh faces, with 9 faces coming in from the south. In fact, right now, let's cut across to our colleague, Kabir Naqvi, who's joining us from the newsroom to bring us more updates about Prime Minister Modi already having taken charge. Kabir, take us through what more we are learning and what more we are receiving in terms of updates as Prime Minister Modi takes charge as for his third term.
You know, yesterday, when the swearing-in ceremony was taking place, the first couple of news articles that made way on the internet were about Narendra Modi's blue waistcoat. So if that is anything to go by, this time around he's donning a yellow waistcoat whilst making his way to the South Block, the visuals of which we earlier put out on our television screens as well. And what you're looking at right now, Shreya, is the fact that the Prime Minister's new cabinet, the Narendra Modi 3.0, the NDA government 3.0 that everybody has been talking about, this third new version, this record time, the third time that Prime Minister has been sworn in as the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, he has now embarked on the first action that has been taken by NDA 3.0. It is for the kalyan of the farmers. It is for the benefit of the farmers. This pertains to the PM Kisan Nidhi. This is the first file that has been signed by the Prime Minister, Shreya, and it pertains to the PM Kisan Nidhi release. Ours is a government fully committed to Kisan Kalyan. It is therefore fitting that the first file signed on taking charges related to farmer welfare. The Prime Minister has said these words, he's uttered these words right after signing that particular file. The Prime Minister also went on to say that we want to keep working even more for the farmers and the agriculture sector in the times to come. Let's not forget the 5 nyayas that the Congress party and the opposition bloc were actually, harping about, made a big poll plank. One of them was the MSP, and all sorts of, recommendations that were mentioned in the Swaminathan Committee's report that was going to be implemented if and had the Congress party or the opposition come into power. This is the first step that has been taken by the NDA government. They couldn't reach the magic figure of 272, Shreya, but they got 240. It is the biggest party, and from all the portfolios and all the cabinet portfolios, we're still awaiting them, but from all the list of people that we're seeing, the Minister of States with the independent charge, the 5 independent charges that we've seen, the Ministers of State and the cabinet ministers, the name in the cabinet ministers, you can clearly see that the BJP has taken hold and retained the dominance in this alliance. And on that front, it seems to be like the right kind of tackle, back at Congress's Nyay for farmers, where the Congress party was promising MSP and all those guarantees. Now, the Prime Minister, this is of course away from all those guarantees and away from the minimum support price, but PM's Kisan Kalyan Nidhi, that is the focus, that is the first job that the Prime Minister has done, goes on a long way in terms of optics, if you look at it, Shreya. The first file that has been signed by the Prime Minister, the NDA government 3.0, it is for the benefit of the farmers. After being sworn in as the Prime Minister for the third time, Prime Minister Modi signs his first file authorizing release of 17th installment of the PM Kisan Nidhi. This will benefit about 9.3 crore farmers, if we could put that number into perspective also. And the distribution in terms of money, Shreya, is going to be rupees 20,000 crore. This is the first job of the NDA government, the first time the Prime Minister assumed his office for the third time. We earlier saw visuals of his cavalcade moving into the South Block of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and over there the first file has been signed. This is the 17th installment of the PM Kisan Kalyan Nidhi, about 20,000 crore rupees over there. Needless to say, Shreya, I mean, optics, take a look at the optics. The Prime Minister, just after swearing in, what a massive event at the ramparts of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and within hours he's back at it again. In a different waistcoat, looking fresher than ever, and he's signed his first file. Also on that digital iPad that he carries, we earlier saw glimpses of that when he visited Lakshadweep as well. But the first ever move of the NDA government. There is also that 100-day agenda that the Prime Minister has already set in motion. But the first file is PM Kisan Kalyan Nidhi, 17th installment, rupees 20,000 crores for the benefit of these crores of farmers, Shreya.
Right, Kabir. In fact, as you mentioned optics, this also throws light, as you also mentioned rightly, about the welfare of farmers, because we had seen during his second term in the 2019, which began in the 2019, we had seen the kind of protests that had erupted against the MSP that you were just mentioning about. Let's just discuss that in a little more depth with regards to how, this is a clear message from the government about, yes, the farmers' welfare shall be a crucial focus point for them this term.
No, you're absolutely right, Shreya, because like you pointed out yourself, farm laws is that one particular aspect, or if you could call it a little bit of a blot on the Prime Minister's prime ministerial tenure. He hasn't taken back any other law. He hasn't, repealed or taken back any of those laws. The farm bills was something that the Prime Minister had to take back. Of course, the entire fiasco around it, Singhu border, all the border points around Delhi, the Tikri border point, these became places of major flashpoints and clashes, not just between the authorities, but amidst the farmers community as well. And Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, that has to be the motto and has been the motto of this nation for the longest time. We revere our brave hearts, but we do respect our farmers as well. Our, Annadatas, they provide food for the entire country, and which is why it's important, and it's a major constituency, major electorate for, any party that comes to power. So farmers have to be pleased. They have to be kept in mind. Their issues and demands have to certainly be kept in mind. And like I mentioned before, the 3 farm laws that the farmers that were protesting at these border points called them the black farm laws, Kale Kanun, which the Prime Minister had to take back. It's the only
Kabir.
position in history where he went a little bit on the back foot. And the first file that has been signed, it's the PM Kisan Nidhi.